Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your good friend, Rafa Esparza, coming to you on a very special episode of the Grappling Hour. For the very first time, we are taking the show to do a kind of live to tape. It's something that we do in late night, where you record it live, but you air it later. We had a 3-camera setup. We interviewed our good friend Milton Arguello at a bar that's close to me, and I love. It's called Hop Merchants. It's out here in North Hollywood. They have been phenomenal to me. There's a personal connection as to why we go to this specific bar that we explain in the interview. There's a special aspect of this interview because it is the first time that Milton has spoken about a loss that he had at a recent LXF event. Just to give you some context as to what happened at that event, it was in my estimation, my opinion, that Milton's fight got stopped a little bit early. The fight was no more than about a minute long. His opponent clipped him, and the referee, again, in my opinion, stepped in a little too early. Even more unfortunate was the fact that Milton seemed to go through a little bit of a depression after that fight. And one, again, in my opinion, that I felt was not quite indicative of what might have actually happened. So we've seen each other multiple times. We've never talked about this particular fight or the aftermath of it. We specifically waited for something like this to actually do it. And he gives us a very, very nice exclusive, talking very, very candidly about that experience and how he was able to pull through for it and what he's got going next. But here's the thing. It's not all gloom and doom. We actually drink beers. I give him the opportunity to interview me at a portion of the interview. And we do something that I just get excited to do these types of interviews because we do something that other people really aren't doing. You've seen me do coverage at live events. You've seen me do traditional interviews via Skype. But this one is where I hope that we can take the show in the future because I love doing these Skype interviews, but there's something truly special about the type of interview you get with an athlete when you craft an interview specifically around something that they love, which is craft beer. And if you know anything about Milton, you know that he loves his craft beer. Let's just get straight to the interview. I hope you like it. Gentlemen, it is your good friend Rafa Esparza. I am coming to you today from Hop Merchants with a former, I don't know if he's a favorite guest, but he's definitely a guest that we've had on before. And I felt it was time to bring him back because he does have some news. I guess some fight news of some sort, I guess we'll get out of him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show, with limited fanfare, our friend, Milton Arguello. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you, Raph, for the amazing interview. Fuck that.
You don't. I'm not running any of that back. I want you to feel how hard it is sometimes. I like that you're like, Raph, how dare you introduce me like that? Oh, wait.
Oh, fuck, that was hilarious. That got me.
Well, let me ask this, dude. What have you been up to? What have you been doing since we've last seen you?
Dude, we haven't spoken really on an interview in about like 8 months now, right?
At least. It's been a little bit over that.
I haven't fought in a little bit. Lost the last fight, fought like an idiot. And after that fight, I just really went down like a super dark hole and like just trying to like see like find myself, like as like corny as that sounds, but like I got kind of like depressed from it. So I actually didn't know if I wanted to fight for a long time. But talking to some people, shout out Travis Gardell, who pulled me aside at a fight one day and just like kind of got that itch going again and like training at different gyms, got that like fire burning again. Like, now I'm training for my first pro kickboxing fight. So that's February 28th for Fighters Rep, and that's something like I'm super excited about. Yeah, that's what I got going on.
So
right now.
Let me get this straight. This one's just kickboxing, right? No grappling?
No grappling, just pure kickboxing.
Okay,
yeah,
because your grappling sucks.
I don't know about that. Our last session says otherwise.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what happened in the last session, why don't you?
Khabib you?
You didn't Khabib me, you Khabib Frostwell.
Nah. Oh, wait, we're not saying names. Wait.
Now you want to be respectful. Right? Like, Raph, no. Out of the sanctity of training, we will not bring that up. You didn't Khabib me. You were
you had mount for probably would be
99.9% of the
That's
round.
not true.
For sure, it would have been a 10-5.
A 10-5?
Yeah, that's not bad.
First of all, I remember you running away several times.
Okay.
Especially the first X-Guard entry, where I literally was dragging you, and I was like, I don't think he knows how to run away from me in this particular moment. Because you literally had that moment where you started dragging your foot, and I was like, the worst part is I'm like, I'm curious enough to say, I wonder how this will go.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm like, this may come back to bite me in the ass.
Of course.
So I'm literally just being curious, like, oh, I wonder what happens if I just hold on to the leg here. And you literally started doing this to run away. And I was like, that's actually my favorite part of the whole training. I think you were super mad at me at one point because you knew the bait was that I was going to let you try to triangle me.
Yeah.
And then you were yelling at me mid-roll and saying, like, it's your big head. Okay? That's accurate, right?
That's accurate 100%.
Okay. Now, I would normally have more sympathy for you.
But I did not fall for the bait.
You did!
No,
you 100% did!
I did not. I said Raph for baiting me, and then I proceeded.
How did I get out of it then? How did I get out of that position?
Your fucking head got you out of that position. You didn't do it. What do you mean?
Now, granted, I laughed at that joke because you're like, your giant head saved you.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it a little bit later, and I said, you know what? That's almost true except for one thing, which is that you have the dumbest, like, top to bottom body portion anybody's ever seen. So if anybody is ever going to triangle me, it should be you. So I don't think you get any sympathy points for being like, oh, your head's too big. We have a lot to do, but I want to start with this, which is you were mentioning you were going down this hole in terms of training.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't say just training, it was just myself in general, you know, like, I feel like I put so much on my self-value and, like, self-worth on winning, you know, and, like, my wins kind of, like, defined who I was, and that really, like, fucking, like, kind of shattered me, you know, like, it was a huge fight. I thought I was, like, in the best shape of my life, like, best training camp ever, like, I felt like the best I ever had, like, in all aspects of the game, and, like, to go out and, like, just do something so stupid like that and, like, let it all crumble, and it was my own doing, and there was no one else, like, faulted. It kind of chin checked me, you know.
Yeah.
It was like one of those things, and it was just like, wow, like, am I good? Like, am I as good as I thought I was? Like, all these like thoughts were going through my head, and it was just like a long period of just like kind of trying to scapegoat and like be like, oh no, like, I'm fine, blah blah, you know, like, it was just a shitty time, you know, and it was just like it took a lot of people to talk to me and be like, yo, like, put me in that right mindset again. So
I'm glad to hear that because, I mean, I know we kid, but I honestly, like, you are somebody who is made for fighting. But think about this in a very simple way of saying it is, you geek out on fights. You love training.
Yep.
But I think of all the people I've trained with, I think you're one of the best natural athletes that I have trained with, period. That I think if you were to really just say, like, if you were to pick any one of them and you said, I want to do just Jiu-Jitsu, I think you'd be a fantastic Jiu-Jitsu competitor. You just always have different interests. So you're just kind of like, you're the type of person who goes, anybody want to do a Jiu-Jitsu competition this week? Because I'm bored. Let's just do it.
That's the whole kickboxing thing, you know? It's like a challenge. It's like, oh, fuck it, let's just do it. Like, you know.
But let's hold on that, because I'm so glad that you were able to get through it.
Yeah.
And something that's really important to me that I don't think we do enough of as either media or athletes is we don't tend to really talk about that specific mindset of it. Like, I sincerely have a belief that no one ever really shows you how to lose.
Correct.
Everybody shows you how to compete, but no one ever says, like, oh, hey, Milt, by the way, after this, you're going to go through this and this.
Yeah.
And there are people who can walk you through it, but very few people who are themselves athletes go through it themselves.
Of course, yeah.
So it's like, I understand it, I think, from a psychological level, but I couldn't tell you as a fighter.
Yeah.
I could tell you what I think is happening and what are some of the things I've seen other fighters and remedies that have happened or are similar to it. So it is a very difficult place to go down. You mentioned people, but what do you specifically cite as the moment that you were like, no, this is what I do?
You know what? I have to give a big, like, I've only spoken to, like, you know, like Jordan and Lance about this, and Gabe, because like they're like super close to me with training and stuff. But Travis Cardell's Travitsky on Instagram, shout him out. But no, he pulled me aside at the last LXF fight, and I was just standing by myself. I think I was looking for someone, or maybe I was just a loner. I don't fucking know. But I just remember like I was standing with my back up against the wall, and he came up to me just randomly. He's like, and he just talked to me and like just told me like, yo, like we all lose, you know, like it's like he told me, he's like, you're super talented, like don't let that loss like bring you back. He's like, dude, I've gotten knocked out too, blah blah, this and that. Basically, like almost every emotion and feeling that I was feeling, he kind of said that he's been through there, you know. And it's like, and it's so like whack to say, like not whack, but like it's like he basically said like I've been there too, and like don't worry, like keep your chin up and keep going, you know. And that really resonated with me, and I think it resonated with me with more because he wasn't someone who was close to me. So I would expect that from like, you know, like Gabe or Jordan or Lance, you know,
your
like
closest
they're my brothers, you
yeah.
know. But like for someone else from an outside perspective to say that, like it really hit me. And so it got me thinking. Like that night I went home, started thinking about that more, and then like that's like kind of really when the itch started going again. And I was like, you know what, he's right. Like, why am I feeling sorry for myself? Like I'm gonna be like honest. Like I just like was like being a little bitch, and like he just was like, yeah, like to me they was just like, yo, just stop. Like, come on, like you're better than that. And it really affected me a lot. So big shout out to Travis, man. I never told you this, but thank you for that, because like I don't think I would even taken this fight if you didn't talk to me that night.
And that is interesting that it would be somebody else outside of your circle.
Yeah.
And it's so weird to say because you trust those guys so much. Mm-hmm. So it's not like fucking Gabe lying to me again.
Yeah. No.
It's a different vibe and personality trait that it took you outside. Because honestly, dude, it was I mean, for me, you know, I watched it and I watched your fight and I remember distinctly, you know, you get clipped and there was a very short version of the fight. Mm-hmm. And I think the thing that was problematic in one sense was you had that preparation, you felt good about it, but then you didn't even get the satisfaction of being like, you know, I got knocked out fully.
Of course.
You know, like you were like still in the fight, you were just kind of like, man, okay, so that's even more aggravating that you would have that sort of moment.
The worst part of the fight for me was, okay, you know what, if we're being real right here, I put myself in that position to get hit like that, right? 100% it's my fault. The worst is that Jordan from day one was like, we're not going to kick against this guy. And the entire fight camp, I trained not to kick against him, right? Yeah. We knew what he was capable of. Like, we're being real. Like, the whole game plan. And, like, in the back, I was warming up. And, like, for some idiotic reason, I was just like, you know what? Like, this front kick's looking really nice. I've never thrown that dumbass front kick in practice ever. Like, it was, like, the dumbest thing I could do. If, like, I was literally just standing there point blank, like, just fucking knock me out, like, type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And that took a lot, like, mentally to figure out, like, why did I do that? Did I just want to get out of the fight as quick as possible? Or, like, what was the reason behind that? Because, like, we didn't, like, the way I went out there to go fight was not anything we had planned, you know? We had a whole completed game plan prepared for this guy, you know? And it was just like, what the fuck was I doing? So...
And credit to your opponent. I mean, Ron's awesome. I love the shit out of him. So that was one of the most unfortunate parts about the fight game is just being like, you know, if somebody you're close to is wrong, you're always like, well, that wasn't fair. That wasn't cool. But at the same point, you know, I had some of the guys in the comment sections being like, oh, respecting Ron. I was like, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no beef with Ron.
Hats off to him.
I was like, and it could be said that he did things that made you kind of go off of that game that you were coming in with. There's a number of different ways we can look at it. But for me, I always think like, it's so nice to know that at 25, you're going through things that people go through at like 30.
Yeah.
And so it's good because you get to that point when I honestly, again, as a spectator, I look at you and I think, okay, you have to make whatever decision you're going to make. Mm-hmm. And then when you do that, you are going to have the satisfaction of saying like, I'm back, I'm ready, I'm self-motivated, I'm going to get there. Mm-hmm. But I will say as a friend, it is hard watching your friends go through that. Yeah. It is very difficult to be like, you know, because you can see it, you know, with competitors, you feel it. And there's a lot of guys. One of my good friends, Gabe Green, he just got injured. Mm-hmm. And he was going to be on the big Bellator card. I just was like, I haven't sent a note to him yet, but I need to let him live in the suck
for
a few days and then be like, how are you?
I think that's the best option too, because like for me, I don't want to say I hate it, but like it's the same messages after. Like it's like, oh, I'm sorry, you did the best you could, blah blah. Like kind of just want to be left alone, you know, for like you know, like you just said, live in the suck. Like just I kind of want to be let be in, like, you know, just sit there and dwell on it.
The nice part about it is like I think after the fight, you know, I saw you very briefly, and my sister was looking at me. She's like, "Are we gonna say something to him?" I was like, "Nope." He knows where to find me, and I know where to find him. I was like, you learn to see that certain fighters want that. Certain fighters, most fighters, are just like, let me just live a little bit, and then we'll go back to that. So, you know, I appreciate you being honest in that, and I think that's good, man. I think that's, again, I think part of the issue is because people don't talk about it, they just feel like, all right, we shouldn't mention it, period.
Yeah, of course.
And then you feel more alone as it happens.
I think it definitely, especially in this sport, needs to be brought up a lot more. You know, I feel like a lot of talented fighters, more talented than myself, go through it, you know, and it's just something that's not talked about, you know. Fuck, man, it's hard. It's a hard mental sport, you know, like you're out there by yourself, like fucking leaving it all on the line, like win, lose, or draw. Like it was weeks and weeks and weeks of preparation for that, like that brief moment.
Milliseconds, you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's crazy, and I think there should be a it should be more important to talk about the mental health and how to train your athlete for that moment or for success, you know? I think a lot of more fighters would be more successful if they did have that.
Well, I also have a policy of like, I don't really bullshit fighters.
Yeah.
So I just kind of find my time to discuss with them, and I feel the room, you know, I'll just kind of be like, talk to you in 3 days. Yeah. You know, and I feel like that's my approach.
And I think that's a big problem too. I don't think you should bullshit a fighter. I think you have to be honest with them. I mean, like from a coaching perspective, you know, like if I fucking bullshit any one of my fighters, like that's detrimental, you know, like it's fucking like if he's doing bad in a sparring session, I need to be like, yo, like you're gonna lose this fucking fight if you're performing like this. Like, come on, like let's get it together. And I think not only from like, obviously winning is the number one goal, right? But if I have, let's say I'm coaching you.
Oh God, I hope it doesn't come to that.
I'm coaching you for this fight. I need to make sure that you're in there prepared because your health is on the line. That's the truth of the matter, you know? And like, that's my responsibility. And that comes first over anything. So if you're not ready, then I need to be the one to pull you, not just fucking put you out there to go do that. And I think being transparent and being honest with a fighter, competitor, etc., is super important.
So I was excited when I saw your next venture is going to be kickboxing. So tell me how that came together.
You know what? So I think it was Jordan who posted in our like little chat that Fighter Reps they were going to have a pro-am show. So I think he mentioned it to Labib, a good friend of mine, to go do it again because Labib did a phenomenal performance on their last show.
Sure.
And then I just like started sitting there and I was like, you know what, I fought amateur kickboxing, I had smokers in kickboxing, I haven't fought pro yet, like, and I started getting excited about it and the wheels started turning. I'm like, you know what, like, this seems like a good challenge, like, why not? Like, what do I have to lose? You know, it's fucking kickboxing. I'm not gonna pursue a career in kickboxing, but like, I think I'm good at kickboxing. I know I'm good. I've been doing it for 15 years, and I think it's a great opportunity for me to just go display my skill set, and you know what, just motivate my students. Like going back to that coaching thing, I definitely put a lot into my coaching, and I care for each one of my students a lot, and I just want like the best for them. But I want to kind of show them that, like, look, I'm coming off this big MMA loss. I'm an MMA fighter, and now I'm delving into kickboxing. If I can do it, like you can do it too, you know. And it's, you know what, and I like that. I love that challenge because everyone thinks of me as a grappler, a wrestler.
Nobody
like,
thinks of me as a grappler. I'll be quite honest.
Oh my God!
Nobody looks at this guy and goes, you know what, this guy's a great grappler.
Yo, pause, you guys. I held him down for 15 minutes straight. Couldn't get up.
Let's do a quick. No. I want to make sure that people know this.
You have what, like 80 pounds on me?
No. First of all,
I think it's like 75.
You're being very kind to whatever weight you haven't cut for this fight yet. So yeah. Second of all,
but you still can't get me up. Like
I want to make something very clear. Okay. So how old are you?
25.
Cool, I'm not.
Okay.
Are you a what rank in jiu-jitsu?
Brown.
Cool. And you get paid.
Brown under 10 planets, so we don't know yet.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Great joke. But also, you get paid to fight, right?
Yeah, something like that.
All right, cool. I just thought it would be easier to beat me.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you have somebody who's just known for commentating and is just kind of a jiu-jitsu friend and commentator, you know, I thought it would just be a cakewalk.
But I beat you in your own rule set. IBJJF rule set.
That's not my rule set. That's the worst rule set there is. Okay, no, I've never said I'm a points fighter. In fact, if I had roll tape right now, which I actually could have had, but it's too lazy to actually program on here, I think we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of you challenging me to, what was it? Do you remember what you challenged me? You just put on an Instagram story one day?
Was it not like no time limit, gi only match?
Yeah.
What's up, everyone? I'm here at 10 Planet Van Nuys. I got my witness, Pasha, over here. Raph Esparza is nowhere to be found, obviously ducking me per usual. So I'm sending this message, challenging Raph Esparza to a no time limit in the submission only match, all right? Let's see if Raph accepts this challenge or if he's going to decline because he's scared per usual. So Raph, if you're hearing me, no time limit in the gi submission only.
Hey, I'm not at Van Nuys right now. This is Raph, not Milton. And I'm challenging Raph. No, I'm Raph. Sorry, I'm speaking like Milton was in challenging me. So I'm at Van Nuys. I hope you guys know I covered that. And to get to my point, yeah, I'll do it. Whatever. So here's the thing I like about it is if you're watching this on Instagram story, I'm on air right now. So that's how I saw this challenge was made. I accept it. I think this is great. I am all about that. The thing is like Milton shows up to one gi class and then thinks that he should be challenging people.
Yeah. Okay, I'm still up for it. What do you mean?
You literally, in every opportunity, I was like, I have a gi. Amazing training over here today. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened. I don't think Milton brought his gi. I think he was a little afraid to roll in the gi for some strange reason. I was like, dog, why are you afraid to roll in the gi? I mean, I get, you know, it's his problem, not mine. You one day ran away.
I never ran away. You call me out to roll, I roll.
That's not even true. This a week.
No. This week, when?
This week. What happened at the very end of our training session? Tell the people. You're under oath right now. I want you to tell the people what happened.
All right, we had done, what, 8 rounds?
No!
No.
Well, 8 rounds in total?
Yeah, so we each did 4 rounds, right? There were 7-minute rounds, right?
I think you're overestimating
what was it?
here.
I think
6
we did rounds.
6 to 7 rounds.
Okay. How long were the rounds?
7 minutes.
Okay. We got there we started rolling at like 5:15, right? That's being generous.
That's
it was at 5:30.
5:15. It was 4.
It was not 4 o'clock. Anyways, I had to go teach at 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5:50 and Raph is going, let's roll.
It was not 5:50. I'll tell you exactly what time it was. It was 5:25.
It was not 5:25.
It was 5:25 because we started rolling at 4:30.
It was not 5:25.
And then when we went to 5:25, I literally was like, okay, you know what? He just had a roll with Frosto. I'm just trying to lose weight. I'm not trying to be a fighter. And I look at him and I was like, you know, this isn't fun to be fighting or grappling with a grappler who is a fighter. But, you know, it's good for me, so I don't run from my challenges. And then you looked at me and Frosto and you said, I'm done.
I had to get out of there. What do you mean?
You didn't have to get out of there. You stayed for the roll. You didn't get changed. You didn't do anything. You literally got on your phone and you start skimming through and Instagramming like a young kid or TikToking. I don't know what you kids do. But I will say, you were the one to put this challenge out to me.
Did you have your gi then?
I always have my gi.
You did not. You did not specify you had your gi.
Wait, I didn't know I was supposed to have my gi?
No,
I'm like Iron Man, dog.
So, before I roll, did you say, Milton, I have my gi, let's do your challenge?
No, because I've already done that before.
Okay.
What's up? I'm over here at 10th Planet Van Nuys, and look who's ducking me. Wait. Did I have my gi? Did you not? Do you not have your gi? Are you sure?
I got 2 gis in
you're
the
ducking.
car
No,
right
you
now.
have 2 gis in the car. Why aren't they
now?
here right now? See, Milton is now ducking me. I've done that in the past.
No.
And you did the exact same thing where you had to go one day previously.
Okay.
Wait. So I don't know if you recall this, but there was a video that I have video proof.
All right. date right now on air. March 21st.
Why the 21st?
Because it gives me 3 weeks of gi training.
After your fight, I was like, you know what's so funny? I wanted to give you so much shit, and I was like, yo, let's settle this. When's your fight? Then I remembered it's the 28th. I was like,
March 21st, no time limit, sub-only gi match.
Sure.
There you go.
I'm fine with that. I will say, yeah, okay, we'll agree to that. The only issue is this.
Anyway, you're going to be in fucking Kansas?
I don't know where I should be here. I don't think I'd do that. I would say this. There is only one thing that people may be expecting at that time. Because it's about that time of the year that I have to defend a WWE BJJ title.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know. I mean, it just depends on how many challengers I have and who seriously is coming after it. Because I famously did beat you for that. Bye, Milton. So I hope that people know that I'm very busy as a champion. So, just reminding you of that. We should address the fact that we are at Hot Merchants and we haven't fully expressed why we're here. Mm-hmm. And I want to go ahead and be the one to actually tell people what brought us here. Back in October 2018, Milton had a fight.
I always try and do the interviews before you guys have like a major weight cut. Correct. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what you're excited? Tell me about your opponent this week, okay?
I am excited about this fight. Added a couple new things this fight camp, training with a couple new people, at a new gym now. I think I'm just overall eager to get back in there and put on a great show for everyone. I'm super happy with the way things are going, super happy with my weight, super happy with just the quality of training I'm finally getting. You know, it's been a really good 6-7 weeks.
I'll take that back. So, I'm so sorry. Are you mad that I didn't bring you one? I could bring you one, dude. Here, look. No, it's okay. It's just, I would be so rude if I was an interviewer who didn't bring you a beer. I can't give it. Oh my God, are you in a weight cut? I'm so sorry. That's so mean of me to do that.
I haven't drank a beer for 7 weeks now, so that changed. I used to be 4 weeks out.
This is so
now,
good.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a delicious beer.
And I told him, I was like, yo, bro, like, hey man, this place is opening up right around me. And I was like, yo, I cannot wait to bring you here. And you were like, dope, no problem. And I was like, yeah. It's opening on your fight night, so I'm not going to the opening of this place because I'm going to your stupid fight. And I came here, I want to say there was a wrestling class that Sunday they opened. I came here and I sent you a picture of a beer and you were just kind of like, that looks so good. And I was like, you can do whatever you want now. So I told you since then I owed you beers. So we decided to go ahead and make good on that and bring you over to Hot Merchants. So this has been almost a year and 4 months that we've been trying to make this happen of you know, start and stops, and you're busy, I'm busy. So what we decided to do today was you very nicely got this first round. I want you to go ahead and talk us through what it was you got from me. So that way people know, but I'm gonna put that on you. What is this?
So this is a Fruit Monster by Great Notion Brewing Company or whatever. They're very famous. They're very, like, I don't want to say notorious, but they're like known for their very excellent beer. Mm-hmm. Let me hold it up that way.
You can see it
right there. Okay, and it's very. It tastes like, it's kind of sour, but it tastes more like candy. It's very good. It's I believe 6% alcohol percentage or
it's pretty good
or whatever. It's good. It's a smooth beer. Doesn't taste like a beer. The minute I saw it, I didn't look at any other beers and I grabbed it because I knew we needed to try this.
Yeah.
Super stoked about this one, so for sure.
Let me go ahead and read this to you guys so you get the full benefit of it. This is camera 1 over here. It literally says, are you zooming in on this? No, fuck you, camera then. All right, we're going to have this camera. This camera over here, it literally is super dope, and it says, Fruit Monster is our series of tart ales with rotating tropical fruits and milk sugar. What the fuck is milk sugar, dude?
I don't know, but that shit, any beer that has milk sugar, I will grab because it tastes like fucking candy.
Really?
Ice cream,
I didn't know.
delicious.
Okay.
Or lactose, too. Lactose makes it taste like milkshakey.
It's fascinating. That's, I guess, what it, well, that's not going to sit well with me later,
It's
but
not
that's
like
good.
milkshakey, though, but it's like...
Yeah, I mean, so I was telling Milton beforehand, I was like, you know, I think this is actually going to combat any potential viruses you can get because it feels like it's got vitamin C in it. So it's very helpful. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a little moment break, When we come back, we're going to have a flight. And I have questions about your fight.
Okay.
But I have a series of questions. And I think it's important that we go down those. But not only will we do those questions, but we'll talk about a little bit more once we return back from break. We'll be right back in just a second.
Hey, sorry to interrupt the flow of the interview. I just got a quick little favor I want to ask of you, and then we'll get right back to it. But here's the way it works. In 2020, we made a goal, which is that we want 2,500 subscribers by the end of the year on our YouTube channel. And I know that might not mean a lot to you guys, but it means everything to people like me who go out of their way to try and do cool interviews like this with the athletes that go criminally underappreciated in our sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Go hit the little like button over here. En route to giving a subscription, probably over here. Maybe I messed up the directions, I don't know. And I will ask one small little additional favor, which is if you like this segment and you want to see me go have beers with other athletes, chime in the comment section below with who you'd like to see and where you'd like to see me do an interview with them. Definitely hit us up with your comments and your suggestions. And now I'm not going to rant on the show anymore. We're going to get straight back to the interview.
How many drinks in are you?
Like 14, I think.
I don't think it's 14.
I'm 2 drinks in. We're about to start a flight.
Yes, we are. Now, as we start the flights, I want you to do us a solid.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about each of these that you've picked. And I want you to tell us why you picked them. What was the first beer that you ended up with?
We're going to go with number 11 on their draft list. It's called Imperial Western Beer Super Cheap.
Okay.
It's an IPA. It should be super bitter.
Have you had this before?
I have not had any of the beers we are having today.
Oh, so this is brand new.
First time.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. He doesn't know questions. I have basically written out several questions for him. He is going to pick them out of one of these cups that I literally put. I got one over here, and we're gonna do them as we are drinking these beers. Do you have ones? That should be a cup, right?
Okay, that'll be my cup. Yep. Let me
Okay, put them in there. This one I'll put over on your side. You put over this one on this side. Did you have fun making these questions to ask me?
You know what I did? I tried to think what would be fun and entertaining to ask you, but I also don't want to ask some like dumbass, jackass questions, you know?
Okay.
Hopefully they're not that. If they're that, then I'm a fucking failure.
I have to say though that when we were doing this and I saw you over to the side being like, yo, these are some good questions though. I was not worried as much as I was thinking, oh, I didn't know what you were going to bring to the table today, son.
Yeah,
but okay,
we'll see.
I'm very excited for that. And just to let you know, one of the benefits of Hop Merchants is they actually bring in new beers on tap every few weeks, so they switch it up so that you don't have the same beers all the time.
Yes, and it is from, actually I don't have where it's from. Interesting.
Failing me, dude.
Nice, I'm sorry. So I pulled that up. I was like, oh, for sure.
You know what, I'm not going to fully put you under the bus because you did tell me you were writing them down as we were in between takes. So I have to give you credit for actually doing that right now. All right, so again, to number 11, Imperial Western Beer. Cheers. To you, sir. All right. So, do you want to start or should I start?
You know what? I'll start.
Okay.
I'm sorry whoever made that beer. That beer is not very good.
Oh, no! I did not expect that.
Last movie I cried at.
Yep.
Honestly, I haven't been watching too many films. The last film I watched that I wanted to cry during because it fucking sucked so much was The Lighthouse. Okay, and it got crazy
yeah, I've heard great reviews
with,
on that.
Willem Dafoe
Yeah.
and Robert Pattinson or whatever. I get the artsy part of it. Willem Dafoe killed his character. That movie fucking was trash, and I wanted to cry because it was so bad.
Okay, but why was it trash?
Dude, it was just, okay, I get the black and white thing, okay, I get all that. It's just like, it was just weird. It was just like, the movie was not for me. That film was not for me. I had some friends who liked it. Afterwards, they said that it sucked. I had like friends in the film industry who like were like, what the fuck am I watching? But afterwards, when they thought about it and they thought about like all the analogies, because it has to do with a lot with Greek mythology, if I'm not mistaken. They're like, oh yeah, it makes total sense, but like still a weird ass movie, you know? I think that'd be the closest I want to cry to, but cry because like I was in so much pain because it was so fucking painful to watch. I don't know, dude. Just fucking go watch it. Bring this whole flight with you. Bring 3 of these and then watch it. Maybe you'll enjoy it.
At what moment did you check out of that film?
I think an hour in, and I was just like, you know what? Fuck this. I went to the back. So the theater was fairly empty. It was just like 4 or 5 of us. And I went to the row behind us, laid down, and just went on my phone.
Just
like,
no.
And then I would like glance over, like I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, I definitely would not rewatch it. If you gave me acid and told me to go watch that movie because it'd make the experience that much better, I would not do it.
Is that something that people do to you?
No. I mean, yeah, people will be like, yo, maybe you should do some like Molly and it'll make it more fun. I'm like, no, I don't do drugs, but like, I don't think any drug in the world, you can fucking inject me with crocodile, that shit in Russia or whatever the shit is. I would not have fun.
Because I've interviewed you multiple times. I've never seen you throw a question at me as an interviewer.
I'm kind of just, they're all over the ballpark, you know. They're not movie questions, they're just different, you know.
I'm excited for it. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's the question. What effect will Gordon Ryan's retiring have on the no-gi scene? That's a good question. For the mere fact of this. We had Gary Tonin on Verbal Tap this week. And I asked him, are we going to have more polite grapplers now? Or did he take us down a road we can't turn back from now? Are we also pot committed to, if you have an opponent, you have to shit talk them? And I think we're going to experience a little bit of boring grapplers for a little while. I think we're going to have people who just don't talk shit to each other and just get in that space of it. It's hard because I know what he's trying to do. And if you meet him in person, you know that he's very nice and presentable. But if you wrong him on the internet, he tries to drag you. And people are into that because I think there is a little bit of resistance to if you just are a nameless person on the internet talking shit about somebody. And it is something that our show has always tried to not be. I think I make it pretty clear on, you know, if we've ever made fun of you on our show, it's usually because you know us.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But, you know, people always have opinions on the internet, so they just basically want to give it. I will say this, though. It's kind of weird to call it a retirement when he himself is still going to be competing for like a little bit of time. So that part I haven't quite figured out.
Do you think he's actually done, like after like his commitments?
So there's rumor that it might be health issue. But even with that being mentioned, I don't see him retire.
Okay.
I see him maybe take some time off and then come back. And if it is indeed really a bad health issue, you know, obviously we wish him a speedy recovery.
Of course.
And that's more important. I don't know, man. I'll tell you this much though. There was one clue I saw, and I really feel this is true. Like right now, we very, very carefully structured when we were going to do this interview so that it wouldn't impede your training.
Of course.
We made sure. I was like, hey man, like I even told you, I was like, oh, we should go get a drink and do this bit. Oh, fuck, you're fighting. And you're like, no, we're still a good amount away. So we're about 7 weeks away.
8 weeks, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, whatever you want to say.
In theory, like I should be cutting out beer tonight. Like tonight would be my...
you essentially are.
Yeah. Well, I cut it out New Year's and then made an exception for you, but it's okay. I'll do anything for you, Ralph.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You're really doing a solid for me. I know for sure. I would say this. I believe that Gordon has made an impact. In retrospect, I'm actually kind of pissed that we gave him some of these matchups. Like him versus Olenek was like, boo. It was garbage. Then they were like him versus Gabe Gonzaga, and I was like, who's making these matches? They're terrible. So that's my.
He definitely was whatever you want to call it, a no-gi for a long amount of time.
Good. He had a good, like honestly, you can date it back to maybe 2015, 2016 when he was really emerging. But one thing that was funny about when we brought Gary on is I told him, I was like, you know, one thing that didn't date super well is that Gary used to give Gordon shit and used to talk smack about him. And there was a moment where I was like, you be nice to him. He's a nice kid. And that was when Gordon was essentially a mute. Now I'm like, yeah, that didn't date well. We have finished beer number one, the Imperial Western beer. Not your favorite beer.
No, fuck no.
I feel like it just felt run of the mill. It's very normal. I don't know that there's anything wrong with it, but I don't know that there's something that I feel like, oh man, I got to go back and have this. That's kind of my
It
thoughts
seemed
on
like your normal West Coast IPA you can pick up at Ralph's.
Oh,
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, fair enough.
I love Space Test. I'll go to Space Test.
Real quick, I just wanted to make sure that's the sound of them not being a sponsor on the show. So I wanted to make sure I recorded that nicely. Well, let's go to our second beer. What's going to be our second beer?
Second beer is going to be Frogtown War on Sobriety. It's a double IPA.
Which, by the way, is a great name.
Very great name. Chose this. I like going from the lightest beers to the darkest beers. That's just like the way I prefer to drink.
That's a responsible way to do it.
I like going, yeah, exactly. Like just low alcohol percentage and then go make your way up. You know, by the end of this, it might be trash, who knows? But
you know what the nicest part of this is? I like that people will be able to see the difference between me as an interviewer, as somebody who's sober, like 100% sober at every event, to now being like, and I'm trash. So cheers to this one, sir.
I'm super excited about this one. It's a double IPA, so.
Is that normally where you land?
Oh, I love Dub. That is actually very good.
I like that.
That's very smooth.
That is very smooth.
Bravo, Frogtown.
Why do you like this one?
You know what? It's funny. I find that going from an IPA to a double IPA, it doesn't get as bitter. And then when you get to a triple IPA, it's like the least bitter of them all, which is dangerous because as you go up, they get higher in alcohol.
Yeah, my wife looks at anything that reads double IPA and is always like, what are you trying to do to yourself? And I tell her, I'm like, yo, like for New Year's this year, poor Kelly, she got sick and she's feeling bad and she's just like, oh man, I feel bad, we can't go out. And I was like, I got my beer, I'm good.
Yep.
I don't need to go out, I'm gonna be all right. Why don't we do this? Go to your question, sir.
Finish this sentence. If I wasn't a fighter, I'd be a shit.
You've never thought of this?
No, I have. There's just been like so many things that like ran through my mind. I can't say coach because that's still being a fighter, right?
It'd still be think of outside the box.
That, yeah. You know what? I'd probably take over my dad's business. So I'd probably do heating and air conditioning. So my parents are both had me super young. They like grew up basically like when they had me, they like learned their whole life just step by step, you know. My mom owns a pretty successful dog grooming business, and then my dad is a heating and air conditioning technician. So I'd probably be working with my dad and taking over that business. That shit sucks though. I'm gonna be real.
I'm very sorry about that. I'm sure your business is quite great. Now your son just doesn't appreciate. I feel bad because
it's hard.
I know it's hard,
it's
and
hard.
I remember once, I don't know what we were supposed to do, like an interview or we were supposed to go out and grab drinks, but I remember once I hit you up and I was like, yo, I'm just trying to schedule something and let's get together, and you were like, I wish I could, dude. My schedule sucks because I'm helping my dad.
Yeah, no.
And I have certain rules about giving people shit, and I'm like, I can't give you shit. That's your family?
Yeah.
Nope. And helping out the family business? Double pass. So I felt bad after even messaging you and be like, yo, when we doing this? And you were just like, helping my dad. I was like, oh, take your time.
Yeah, summer I try to help him out as much as I can, you know.
Because it's a busy season as well.
Oh, fucking miserable season. You know, like he'll leave the house at like 5:30 in the morning and won't get back like till fucking 10 at night, sometimes even later. Like I've been on days with him, like we leave at 5:30 and we won't get back till like 11:30 and on repeat. And it's just like, oh, shit. Yeah, because everyone's trying to get their air conditioning. You know, no one likes being uncomfortable. It's crazy because like we just said, like summer's like the busy month.
Yeah,
that's like a given. But like, you know what, winter has been pretty busy also. Like
crazy.
Yeah, just like people just like it gets colder, they want their heat. Like, yeah,
okay.
But it's good, you know. I wouldn't say it piques my interest, but like there's a lot of money to be made there, you know.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And it's a respectable business that you can make a good living off of it. It's just if that isn't necessarily going to be your passion, it may not be something that you're going to be like, yo, I want to go do this for 12 hours a day. And by the way, your system of what is hot and cold is completely out the window because you are in a sport where you're essentially fighting people in like shorts. And even then, like half the time you'll like look around and you're like, it's fucking cold. So
it's funny you say that. Like Jordan and Gabe always joke around like I'm always fucking cold, but like especially like during fight camp, I feel like I'm fucking freezing all the time. Like I feel like it's a fucking like the ice age. Like it's the worst, you know. Like
well, that was the thing I actually hated about. I think it was one of your last couple fights was they had you move from 3rd to 12th, and I remember thinking like
from 3rd to 8th. To 14th.
I didn't know.
There we go. Okay, fuck that promotion.
Because I know to fighters, it's always great to fight in the main event, but for certain organizations, if you are going to fight, the main event isn't the last fight necessarily.
It's the middle.
So some fighters actually prefer to be on the earlier part of the card so that they can get their drink on, they can relax, they don't have to worry, they get their fight, and then they're done. For you, I remember being like, ooh, 3rd is not bad for Milt. That's going to be great. He can get in and out, and then he can go do...
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's 8th? Oh, no, he's last. And I had only heard you were last because I was cage side, and that was
that was trash.
But you won the fight.
I did. Yeah,
we should tell people that so that people kind of know. And to be fair, that was the fight that we were supposed to come do this for. So it all comes full circle.
Right.
This is the next one that you have submitted for me. Favorite fight of 2019 and why? I can't tell you that this was a great fight by any means. Like when you look at the pantheon of fights, I think somebody put Izzy versus Kelvin Gastelum, and I said, yeah, that stands up. I'd watch that fight again. But the amount of joy I felt when Street Jesus knocked out Ben Askren.
Oh my God.
Unparalleled.
Why would you say that to me, bro?
Why? What's your issue? Do you love Ben Askren or something?
Ben Askren is my favorite fighter.
No.
1000% my favorite fighter.
When did that happen? And who led you astray on this one?
You can't diminish his legacy off these UFC runs. He was past his prime in the UFC, did well, okay, got knocked out by Ben Askren by
yes, he knocked himself out
by Masvidal.
Yes,
and then you know what? He was doing well in the David Maia fight. He was doing well
until
he got choked out.
Okay.
It's okay.
Milton, I don't believe you actually love Ben Askren.
I think he is one of the best fighters of all time.
100%. I feel like this is where the real show starts. I feel like us arguing about Ben Askren's greatness as a fighter is really something that is to behold.
No, he is one of the best fighters of all time.
First of all, you don't fight like him.
Not at all. What do you mean?
No, you fight well. I feel, I want to be very clear. This man was a phenom as a wrestler.
As a fighter.
Hold on.
Okay.
I think that he implemented his wrestling in a way that was problematic for a number of fighters.
Of course.
And I feel like he had that run where he was like, man, I'm untouchable in these Asian organizations.
Okay.
Bellator? Sure. But I really feel like one gave him something special.
Okay.
But he kept saying, give me GSP. Let me show you what. And I kept looking at his game. And maybe this is just the difference between journalist and fighter. We look at different things sometimes. But I feel one of the things I do respect about you is I can talk fighting with you anytime, any place. And I feel like we may not agree, but we respect each other. But most of the time, our Venn diagram is fairly similar.
Yeah.
But with him, I was like, could not be less interested. Because I would watch his fight and be like, cool.
What do you mean? He grabs a hold of someone, holds him down, they can't do it. It's almost Khabib-esque.
And some of Khabib's fights aren't necessarily replayable.
No.
unless you're looking at how to control.
Exactly.
But if you're looking at it from the standpoint of, man, was that a fight I love? Not necessarily somebody I'm going to go back to a ton.
Of course.
And I think that's Khabib's biggest criticism, because you think about it and thinking, like, what is he, 20-something and 0? Like
26, 27.
26, 27, like that many wins necessitates somebody who is amazing at MMA. But if you ask me, like, what Khabib fight are you excited to see? I'm like, Ferguson and him, and then I'm good. That's it.
I think it's tough, you know, like you said, controlling someone. It's funny. I try to base my jiu-jitsu game off that. As you give me shit for, as everyone else gives me shit for, but I think it's easy.
That's true. You were pulling that shit the other day.
Yeah, I feel like it's easier to kind of flash sub someone than it is to flash control someone. If that makes sense. Like,
no, but I get what you're saying.
No, like, I think it's a lot harder just to like hold someone down and they can't get out.
It's more, no, I don't know that it's more impressive. I think it is more indicative of a excellence in your craft to be able to hold somebody that long. But I don't know that that makes it more entertaining to me as a fan.
No,
because
not
when
at
I
all.
watch it, I'm just like, I look at him and I go, cool, are we gonna finish sometime?
It's boring as fuck. I agree 100%. It's the worst type of fight to watch.
Okay.
Unless you're interested in that.
But like, the dumb part is, I'm not trying to fight, bro. So like, I'm just, you know, like, and you know what's funny? This is very interesting because I definitely remember asking you at one point, what kind of fights you love? And I think in the last interview, you were like, oh yeah, and you were saying all these things were very, basically like reminiscent of somebody who's a technician, and then you're like, yo, I love anything with CTE that just happens in the face.
You're right. I mean, as a fan, I think it's always more fun to go watch somebody go out there and just slang and bang. Like, no matter, it's entertaining, you know? But if you get into a grappling match, I know, like, most people won't find that entertaining. It's like, oh, what the fuck are they doing? Just stand up and just hit each other, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. And you know what? I would love to see Khabib do some grappling events, because I'd love to see if he switches it up. I'd love to see what would happen if somebody was attacking his legs, if he could shut that down. I think he could, but I always feel like, yo, the fact that most MMA fighters aren't going to expand that much energy trying to attack the legs, it opens up questions to me. So, but he's become such a phenom now that it's hard to pull him back in. I would hope to appeal to the sportsman in him and be like, yo, we'd love to see you in grappling once you're done with doing whatever you're doing.
You know what? I think I'm more of a fan of his dad than I am of Khabib. And, like,
that makes sense. I get that.
His dad is a fucking genius.
I know.
Like, dude, anytime he has an interview, I'm always waiting for it to be translated and stuff. But like, that dude has a crazy insight in MMA. Like, this past interview in like the last week, he was talking about like Khabib's toughest opponents, and he like came out and said like, well, Michael Johnson was his toughest opponent because he had the fastest hands. You know, like obviously you see Khabib's weakness. Like that dude's just real straight up. Like, that's someone like kind of I kind of be a coach like that.
You are more than halfway done with that drink, so that's how much you also love this one.
Let's see. Rank the best 3 Coachella acts you've seen live. Huh. It's very tough. So the first one, without a doubt, will be Gustafsson, which was in 20... I don't know. The first year he did, it was his last live DJ set. So like, a lot of DJs now like pre-record their mixes. So he was mixing up on stage. It's funny. I went with my girlfriend. We like left the group because like I really wanted to see him live. No one else came with us. It was like the best performance I ever saw. It was in the Mojave tent. Super grim, super like grudge, like just like London, like just like techno, just like I can't even explain it. It was like a phenomenal performance. Mind you, I don't do drugs, so like I was sober as could be. And like I found it phenomenal. So he's like number one for me. Okay. 100%. Then I'll have to say Major Lazer in 2000.
Oh shit! Okay.
13. That was just a fun party. I think it was in the Gobi tent. Just super fun. We were camping out for that, and like we were like 5 rows back from front row. Diplo came out. He came in a hamster ball. Like, it was just a fun time. I just remember like a fun experience with that.
So wait a minute. So he came out as a hamster ball. Did he go into the crowd in the hamster ball?
He went into the crowd, like crowd surf, like that whole crowd surfing to like a whole new thing.
Okay.
And then the third one is tough.
Well, hold on. You said to a whole new thing. Do you know who one of the first people to do that was?
No, I don't.
This is where us older folk have to educate the young folks. Some people would say the Flaming Lips. Okay. I've seen concerts forever. I love Coachella. I was there for a number of years. It's one of the things I think we actually bond about, which is you've done Coachella, which is more new Coachella. I did Coachella. That was a long time ago. Peter Gabriel. So Peter Gabriel is out of his fucking mind.
Who the fuck is that?
Okay. First of all, I'm so angry at you. Oh my god. I've never aged so fast in an interview as I have right now. Peter Gabriel is the guy who sings In Your Eyes. Do you know that song?
No. I mean, here.
In your eyes, the light, the heat, I am complete. No way. Are you serious on no part of this?
What the fuck?
Wow. Okay. That's that's the money song. He also sang the main song from Wall-E.
Okay.
Down to Earth. So I don't know if you've seen that movie from Pixar.
Yeah.
This is harmful. I've never felt so old in my life. Okay, Peter Gabriel. This dude, when he was 50, okay, he was doing a tour called the Up Tour. And what he did at this point was he had this stage that basically he came out with like a piano, was playing the piano. And you could see there was some dressing that was up above. The dressing turns into a giant sphere.
Okay.
And then he was in it like a hamster. And he goes out into the crowd. And all I could think about at this time, in my youth, I think I was younger than even you at this point. I just remember being like, you're 50, you don't have to do this. Like, chill the fuck out, man. But because he's so avant-garde, he was like, I gotta do something different. And he would literally, I never forget this, he sang one of his songs by harness upside down, walking around the sphere of this thing. So to me, whenever I see the hamster ball trick of people going into the crowd, I remember Flaming Lips did it, and I was like, yeah, that's dope. But I remember being like, but Peter Gabriel did that shit. But either way, I love Diplo and Major Lazer. So I think that's dope that they're continuing that trend.
Yeah.
Okay, third.
Third is tough because like I've seen like. Well, we've talked about it before. This is actually my 10th year going to Coachella. So I went.
So you're going again this year?
Yeah, 2020. So I first went in 2010, and I've gone every year since, and I've like doubled up. So I don't even know how many Coachellas that are. But I tried to go see a lot of acts. I don't think I can pick a third.
Really?
Yeah, I think those are my top 2, and the rest are just like
everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay. Most impressive grappler of 2019 and who to watch in 2020. Okay, most impressive grappler of 2020 or 2019. I have so many people, and the worst part is I have people who are going to watch the show right now. So I have people who are probably being like, "You gonna name me, Rap?
Yeah.
You better name me, dog." There's a gentleman by the name of William Tackett. He's the guy who famously was punched by Tex Johnson at an event that I was commentating.
Oh, that was recently, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wait, that dude really punched him.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit. I'm sorry.
No.
But
you're not wrong. And of all people, Gordon and myself were commentating it.
Okay, Guy, you're up, buddy.
So all of a sudden, there was a moment where I just remembered looking over. I'm looking at the stage, and I'm like, okay, that seems a little weird. I think that dude got punched in the face. But if you hear me on commentary, I 100% say, whoa! Like, because who expects that somebody's going to get punched in a fucking grappling match?
Were they 50-50 or where were they? What position were they?
So what it was I want to say it was almost trying to do like, they're both seated.
Okay.
And you could see that Tex was trying to start like kind of like a leg attack.
Okay.
Almost reminiscent of like a sitting estima, kind of like, straight footlock sort of a thing. And William kind of tries to roll out of it. When he rolls out of it, he comes back into the action. And Tex had gotten frustrated the whole time, smacks him in the face, And I remembered immediately, I was just like, yep, and it looks like he's going to escape, and whoa! And that's what a memorialize is saying on there. But if you notice, William went to mount, kept him there the entire time, took Texas back for the majority of the match, and then he loses to Texas in overtime. But if you were to tell me who dominated that match, it would actually be William Tackett. He's one of those guys out in Texas that I would say, and then in the same vein, I would say look out for one Jordan Hawley. I got the chance to roll with him. He's good, man.
Would you say that, like, or not would you say, but do you think that, let's say we're in a big rap competition like that,
Yeah.
and you get frustrated and I just deck you
Punch
across
someone,
the-
yeah.
I should be DQ'd automatically.
Yeah, and he wasn't. But, so Gordon.
Why do you think that is?
Okay, the people who put it together, it was the guys behind BJJ Fanatics, Michael Zinga and Bernardo Faria, who, by the way, did hire me, so I want to make it very clear to everybody that I did get paid by them to commentate their event. They're so nice.
Okay.
They're so nice. I didn't see them as disqualifying anybody. I was like, there's no way they're going to disqualify them. So I knew they probably would.
But, I mean, if you're going to make yourself like a legitimate, I mean, I don't want to say force, but like, you know, like promoter. And
they are.
You have to step your foot down.
So the only thing that happened that was really weird is they accepted responsibility, which I appreciate about them. But the only thing they did say was they were like, "Oh, sorry guys, we forgot to tell you not to punch people." And I was like, that shouldn't need to be said. I think that's well established.
I think it also has to do with the grappler, Tex Johnson. You're a big ass motherfucker. I'm not talking shit, but
he might be watching this, so I would watch your words. Sir.
Yeah, no.
I would say this. It was unfortunate.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't know what to make of the situation, but in the sense that it did make that night William Tackett a bigger star. So him, Jordan Hawley, I think are two people. Cody Steele is also part of that nice group of kids.
Okay.
I've heard somebody even say that William Tackett's younger brother, Andrew Tackett is the one to watch. All those Texas boys, super good, but I think there's something special about Tackett that I would keep an eye on him. He's somebody who I think is he'll shake things up. So I'm finishing now.
I'm done.
With the number 10, the Brewing West Dead Water pastry stout. Okay. That was really good. I did enjoy that. I don't know if you did. But
I like it a lot.
Where are we at now?
We are at LAL Works, Willow Oats. Oatmeal stout. I love oatmeal stout. I was excited to try this. Shit should be very strong. LAL Works is very. They are. Shit, I don't want to fuck this up.
Well, you probably will now that you're saying it like that.
They're out by LAX. I went and visited the brewery like not too long ago. They're like San Pedro area-ish
Sure.
type thing. I don't fucking know. I'm not Google Maps, motherfucker.
Fair,
Right?
okay.
We all have Google. Look up LAL Works. They're in our vicinity. Shit, they make good beer. Let's try this shit.
All right, fair enough. Cheers.
Cheers.
That is contrastly different from the last one.
I like this better.
Do you?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to drink more of it to figure it out. Is it because it's smoother? Because it's smooth to me right now.
It's smooth. The pastry stouts are very syrupy. So like, I like the syrupy, but there's so much I can take. So like something to like get into stouts, I'd rather drink this before I drink the other one.
Interesting. Okay.
So I think I would like the pastry stout more if I drink this first. If that makes sense.
Fair enough. All right. Well, why don't you grab one of your questions now, sir?
All right.
Also, we want to say a big thank you over to Hop Merchants for allowing us to sit here and drink for as long as we have. It's very nice of them. But why don't you go and read your question, sir?
Remember, describe the first craft beer you remember drinking. So the first craft beer I ever drank was, I don't know if you can even consider it a craft beer, but it was 805 by Firestone. I don't know what the fuck makes 805 anymore. I've been drinking it so long. But it was a craft lager, I guess you can call it. Way different than Corona, way different than Heineken. It was good, but then my uncle put me on to Lagunitas IPA. I just remember thinking, like, what the fuck is this? Like, this super bitter, like, shit tastes like ass. Like, whatever, okay. It was in this order. And then the third one was Dogfish Head. It was 90-minute IPA. And I remember drinking one of those and being fucked up. And I was like, what the fuck am I drinking? Like, this shit was, like, it was so bitter and so, like, I don't know, I was just fucked up. But after that, I started drinking more of the Lagunitas. I got into the IPAs, just drinking those more and more and more, and I actually started enjoying them. But it all started with 805, for sure.
805 was the very beginning of it.
Yeah, by my uncle, yeah. And it's funny, that same uncle is the same uncle who took me to Coachella. So a lot of my friends are like, oh, it's the same uncle who puts you on to anything that like we like puts me on to music, all that stuff.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And that is fair. There are some family members, my sister and I were the first to kind of influence each other on being like, let's go to Coachella. And now we're both like, let's stay away from Coachella. Like, we're good.
That's hilarious.
And you know what's weird is now that I'm thinking about the actual timeline of it, I think you picked up where I probably stopped. Because I think I remember the last time I was at Coachella was Rage Against the Machine. I had to see them back again. And I tried to absorb as much of that as possible. And then I think at that time, it was like maybe a year or so after Madonna did it, and I was like, it's going to be a different Coachella from now on. Because I remember, and this is how much you could tell it's similar but different.
Yeah.
What did you say? Do you remember what you said about Ariana Grande when she performed at Coachella?
You know what? I don't remember what I said. I sure remember being like,
I remember what you said.
Like, what the fuck? Wait, was this when she got announced?
No, it was when she was performing. You were there for Coachella.
Yeah.
And you had a certain quip that you said when she was performing.
I can't remember what I said exactly. I just remember sitting there with my homie Bardia.
Yeah.
Okay. My girlfriend was there and his girlfriend were there watching it, and we're just sitting on the floor, just fucking depressed. And like, what the fuck happened? Like, why are we watching this shit? This is going through my mind. Bardia, I don't want to get you in trouble. This is not what you're thinking. Sarah, I'm sorry. He's not thinking this, but this is what I was thinking. I was like, what the fuck are we, like, what am I watching, you know? But like, my girlfriend does a lot for me. I could sacrifice that little.
That's a nice thing of you. Yeah, of course.
That shit fucking sucks.
The one thing you said online that I remember for sure is you said in response to her performance, you 1,000,000% said, "Hey, Ariana Grande, thank you. Next." And I was like, "Oh God, so mean."
Oh my God.
What a way to cap off on her. But that's how I knew.
Great performer. Not my vibe. I'm glad they had fun.
And good.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, I knew once I saw somebody like Madonna hit the stage, I said that Coachella is not going to be the same that I knew, because they're going to get pop stars like her.
Yeah.
And when it's bad, it's, I'm sure what probably you saw.
Yeah.
But when it's good, I was like, yo, when I saw Beyonce perform on there, I actually tuned in and I was like, fuck, dude, she put on a very good show. And a lot of times I want to be like, yo, Beyonce's just doing this person, or she's doing Michael, or she's doing Janet, she's doing somebody that I've seen before. And yet I was like, you know what? She was so athletic and so into it that I was like, I have to respect this.
Of course.
Hardest part of interviews. Who was the most challenging and why? Okay. The hardest part of interviews. I always think of it like this. I don't think if an interview goes wrong, it's necessarily the guest's fault.
Okay.
So I do a lot of, much like the same way you would watch your fights in kind of a way where you would say like, oh, I need to improve this, I do this. I do the same thing with interviews, but when I watch my interviews, if I see it didn't go well, I blame myself first. And then I immediately think, oh, I should have been more on here, I should have asked them this, I should have done that. Of course. The hardest thing to do with interviews, I feel, is to make the guest feel like they're not on camera.
Okay.
Because some of them will start like doing this. Yeah, I remember that too. Cool. And they look at the camera and I'm like, don't look at the camera, look at me. And so you want to make them feel so relaxed and chill that you could ask them anything. You could ask them the hardest question in the world, and they'll feel like they want to open up. And some people are very hard to crack. So think of it like kind of like a pistachio that you're kind of like sitting there, and some pistachios open very quickly, and then some you kind of have to dig in, and they're like, there's no hole here. How am I supposed to open this fucking thing? That's very similar to me on how I do the interviews. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. But yeah, I consider it a sport to interview.
Of course. I think, the first interview we had, I was like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, this is hard. It's like, it is very hard. So I think you perfected your craft. I don't want to say perfected because you're someone who's looking to.
It would be like me saying you perfected MMA. Yeah. You'd be like, I don't know about that. Yeah, I get it.
No, you do a very good job at what you do, and it's like fun. I mean, I had a blast today. It's fucking one of the most fun interviews you've done. So.
I mean, it's the best kind of interview where you get to drink on the job, and you essentially, I don't know that you're getting paid for it, but you're essentially drinking for free. Got a little bit left in both of our drinks over here, so we're going to finish these off. Why don't you do your last... I think you have 2 questions you can do from, so...
I'll do both. Fuck it.
All right, go for it.
If you had to compare your grappling game to a beer, what beer would it be and why? So it'd have to be like a fucking one-hitter quitter. So what's a one-hitter quitter? Something of... Oh my god. So there's a beer, alright, by Evil Town Brewing. It's like... Pizza Money Stout, and it's supposed to taste like pizza, a dollar bill, and like I forgot what else, bro. 18%.
Okay.
Fucking hey, that shit fucking puts you on your ass.
Okay.
That's what I'm just grabbing my fuck. Like, just think of that. Imagine drinking a pizza and a dollar bill.
Okay.
That's what I would grab.
I like that. Well, good for you. I can affirm that because I've always felt that no matter what the role we have is, that you will commit 1,000,000% to whatever the role is.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm always like, if I'm going about 20%, and I'll literally start feeling you out, I'll be like, oh, fuck, he's at 120%. I have to go up 100 more percent. So, and this is to kind of encapsulate the role we were describing earlier. So, we had 3 people who were rolling the other night, and the first roll with him and the other guy was just them feeling each other out and just kind of like doing positions. I come in as the odd man out, and he's already warmed up. So now he's going, and I'm like, where's my role to like warm up? And he's just already like, once he's taken like mount or side control, he was just there. And I was like, I would like to do the thing where like I pretend to like sweep you too, if that's cool. No? All right, well, I'm fucked. I'm gonna read your last question.
Okay.
And then I think you have one more. But here's the question I got from you, which is, why is Milton a better grappler than Raph? And you know what's funny about this is, I'm so glad that these are the last questions, because I know your last question. Why is Milton a better grappler than Raph? I think that Milton, if I was to say he was a better grappler than me in the fairy tale that exists in this question, it would be that I think he establishes a dominant position better than I do, but that he's but that and this is why I say I think you're one of the best athletes I've worked with, period, is that you have a great sense of even things that you have not been taught, you learn quickly. So one of the things that I think complements the two of us when we're rolling is, I'll roll with you, and I may know an insight on something, but I can't do it. But what I can do for you when we're rolling together is tell you what that insight is.
Of course, yeah.
And then I can literally say like, hey man, you know, when we're rolling against each other, it's not life or death. It's just for fun.
Yeah.
But like, I always think like, shit, you might be fighting. This might be a very important clue to something that I think would save you getting punched or make sure you're not going to get hurt. So when we're rolling together, I literally think of it as what's more important. And I think you fighting and being safe is more important than us having bragging rights. Though I think it is fun.
It is fun.
But I feel like I would honestly say, I mean, I think you are a better all-around grappler than I am, which is why it's so astounding that you're not ever able to tap me. And we're going on 3.5 years, and that's part of the reason why I like sub only is because I want to be like, let's just finish it, you know, like let's get some finality to that. Because if you're so much better than me, like why the fuck aren't you? Oh my god.
Before we address that, going back to your other point, I think that there's a lot to learn from everyone you grapple with. And I know my frustrations when I grapple with you, and every time we end our roll, I ask you a question, and I say like, yo, you're doing this very well, like what the fuck, how the fuck do I address that?
Yeah.
That stupid X-guard bullshit where you're latching to my leg like a fucking leech. But I was like, yo, I've never seen that. Like, and I've grappled with a lot of leg lockers too, and there's like something a completely different look. I had no idea, and I was like, yo, how do I address this? And like in my mind, it's just like, okay, maybe I do this, maybe I do this, maybe I'll just run away and fucking running away didn't work, but it's just like just trying to gain that knowledge, you know. And I think a lot of people need to humble themselves and be like, okay, it's okay to get tapped, it's okay to be like getting in these bad positions, because if you don't, you'll never learn from them.
People go, how do I beat you? And I was like, oh, I'll tell you exactly how to beat me. Like 1,000%. Because I don't want an easy roll. I don't want to win by being less shitty than you. I want to win by being better. And because it has a puzzle element to me, I'm like, well, I've literally just increased the level of difficulty from 10 to 1,000. Yeah. So I don't mind giving you that insight so that you can provide a harder roll to me. But somebody, I'm like, I don't know, he might tap me here. Like, I'm super fat right now. So I'm like, this is my weakest, bro. And I looked at you and I almost was like, yo, if you can't beat me now, this is not boding well for your future.
I think you did say that during our fucking
I tried to say it as much as I was like, yo, Milt, this is time, dude. You can put me away if you just do these things.
I did beat you. You asked for IBJJF rules, and I said, okay.
No,
don't.
No. You, first of all, that's an entirely huge question. The other thing I would say though is I always say you roll like an IBJJF point grappler, and you say yes. So that's the only time I say that.
Let's see what fucking madness you got for me. What is the one thing you would be most pissed to lose to me at? Honestly, anything.
Like, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
I feel like if I beat you at, like, say, Candyland, we set up Candyland, you'd probably look at me and be like, fuck, I don't give a fuck about Candyland, right? But...
okay, if we went online right now, and you and I went a 1v1 match on Call of Duty, I think I'd be most pissed about that.
Okay.
100%.
Here's the good news. Would not beat you at Call of Duty. I'm very bad at video games.
100% would be most upset. I don't know why, but video games trigger me more than MMA. Like, I don't know if it's my fucking dumbass friends just talking shit or just what, or just...
Do you talk more shit to your friends in real life, or do you talk more shit to the people online when you're playing video games?
No, both.
Both?
Both for sure, yeah. But no, okay. I would say like it's like a little more online, but I think we push each other like as much as we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's hard because, again, this is the part where I know you and I are different people, because I feel like you talk shit to me to an extent.
Yeah.
But that, like, if I was a fighter, it'd be a different conversation.
I think, yes, of course, but like, I think there's no boundary when I talk shit to my friends online.
Wow.
And it's vice versa. Like, I think that people, like, if their girlfriends would hear what we say, like, they'd leave them, like, 100%. We have a friend, right? I won't name his name, but his name runs a dick, right?
Okay.
Just moved in with his girlfriend. If she heard what we would say, like, I don't think she'd be with him. And like 100%, if she would hear what he says to us, she wouldn't be like. It's just a different realm. Like, yeah, I don't want to.
Okay. Look at this, everybody, just to make sure that you can see this, we crushed all of these beers on the flight. I have to say, this has been something I've wanted to do for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
It has been a fantastic ride to be able to finally get to a brewery, get to a place that sells beer, and do this for you. I want to make sure that people remember that you've got a fight coming up. So if they were to remember anything right over here, that's your camera right there.
Right there.
I want you to look at that camera right now and tell them why they should buy tickets to your next fight. It is going to be on February 28th.
Yes, sir.
And what can they expect when they're going to see you fight on that date?
I'm making my pro kickboxing debut on February 28th in Seal Beach for Fighters Rep. I am undefeated in kickboxing, Muay Thai, stand-up, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Whatever, I haven't lost a fight there. I'm not going to lose another fight there. I put on a show on the stand-up. I'm excited to expose this guy. And you know what? You just witnessed Raph and I just kill a bunch of beers. We're going to have a bunch of fun afterwards. We had a bunch of fun tonight, and just tune in. Fuck Raph.
Well, that was not part of the interview that I needed to have. I was super content on being like, yo, we're having a nice, like, fucking full house TGIF ending. You kept trying to turn to heel. You know what's the best part about it? So we do the whole WWE BJJ stuff. And the thing that I really liked about creating a character for you was that you started to turn heel a little bit in there, and I noticed how quickly and how effortlessly you went from being this guy who was like the good guy that you're cheering for to this guy that you're cheering for that may have beat somebody illegally in the background of the scene. And I was like, you know, Milton might not be a bad heel. Maybe you're supposed to be the heel and I'm supposed to be the good guy. And it's tough to figure that out. So I think, go ahead.
But no, really, you guys, just want to thank everyone tuning in. Thank you, Raph Esparza. Thank you, Verbal Tap. It means a lot to me. I had a fucking blast with this interview. I can't wait to see what other crazy things Raph comes up with. They're all very entertaining. I'm telling you, like, this is the most fun I've had getting interviewed. And yeah, thank you, Raph, and thank you, Verbal Tap. Not the fucking tea, so I'm out this bitch.
Oh wow, you're literally leaving the interview. Okay, well, cool. All right, well. Anyway, that was really nice of him.